Keira's main job on the Southern United Railroad is taking rocks from the quarry to Glendale Seaport and other places on the main line. Keira is the best at handling freight cars and knows how to get them to behave. The other ends are impressed by her handling of them, especially Larry, and often brags about it. One day, Larry was telling the other ends about how Keira put some unruly freight cars in their place. And once she pushed them into that siding, they didn't say another word. Keira smiled and blushed. "Come on, Larry, it wasn't that great." "To me it was," Larry replied. Kevin, Cristian, and Taylor enjoyed the story, but Sarah, Khadijah, and Roger were not amused. "You think you're so great, Miss Know-It-All," Roger said crossly. "And what's that supposed to mean?" replied Keira. "You go about pulling your cars, thinking you're better than the rest of us." "No, I don't," snapped Keira. "Yes, you do," replied Roger. "I can handle my cars better than you, but I don't act like I know-it-all." "Wait, weren't you the same diesel that smashed those rusty boxcars through a brick wall on the Route 62? Larry said, smirking. Cristian burst out laughing. "And you were acting a know-it-all before that happened," added Kevin. Roger went red with anger. "That's different. Those rusty boxcars had locked brakes, but I can handle foolish freight cars." Just then Ray arrived with news of a special for Larry and Keira. "Larry and Keira, tomorrow I need you two to take a rail fan photographer special to Spring Valley." Larry and Keira were excited. "Roger, I need you to go to the quarry in Keira's place." Roger smiled. He could finally prove to Larry and Keira that he could handle freight cars better. Next morning came, and Roger set off for work. There were no empty hoppers to take to the quarry, so he was to run as the caboose hop. He coupled onto a caboose whose name was Ellis. "Oh no, not him," groaned Ellis. Ellis didn't care for Roger's attitude. "Come on, Ellis," said Roger proudly. "The rock won't collect themselves." Ellis rolled his eyes as Roger pulled him away. "Who's this orange idiot?" said the freight cars as they saw Roger approaching. Roger left Ellis in the siding and rolled up to the hoppers. "Where's Keira?" asked the cars angrily. "She's not here," Roger replied rudely. "I'm in charge and that's final." "Says who?" "Says me," snapped Roger and bumped the cars hard. "Ouch! Ouch!" they shouted. The cars were outraged. Although Keira often says she would bump the cars, she never actually did it. On and on it went, all morning. Roger bumped and spoke rudely to the cars. "These cars will pay you back," warned Ellis. "They wouldn't dare," Roger replied pompously. "Don't you know who I am?" Ellis really wanted to answer, but he decided it would be best not to say anything. Around noon, Roger had a long train of Rockin range bound for the seaport. The hoppers were surprisingly quiet. "You see, Ellis," called Roger, "this will be easy." Ellis was still worried, but he and his conductor decided they would keep an extra eye out. Everything went fine until they reached the hill. Roger was full of himself. He was thinking of what he would say to Larry and Keira when they next met. Then suddenly, "Look out, Roger!" shouted his driver. But it was too late. Roger tried to stop, but the hopper's chance had come. They pushed Roger down the hill. "Help! Help!" cried Roger. On, cheered the cars. Roger's driver fought for control. Ellis's conductor applied his brakes. Soon Roger rumbled over a switch and onto the main line. along his line was Marquis with the passenger train. "We're gonna crash!" shouted Roger. Marquis's fireman hopped out of the cab and set the switch away from their train. "Phew," gasped Roger. "I'm safe now." But he wasn't. Roger was going too fast for the turnout and came off the rails the moment he hit the siding. The first few cars were piled up behind him, while some others derailed in line with the track. Ellis had his brakes on so hard that his wheels had flat spots. Roger's driver and fireman had a few bruises, but were otherwise unhurt. Marquis, his crew, and his passengers were unharmed. Larry and Keira were returning home with their special when they came upon the crash. "Marquis!" called Larry. "Who crashed?" "Larry, you could clearly see it's Roger." "But it can't be," said Keira. "Roger doesn't have problems with freight cars, so it can't be him." The rail fans were excited and began taking pictures of the accident. Roger shut his eyes. By sundown, the cars had been cleared, and even Ellis was taken away to get new wheels. Roger was left behind because the switch was damaged. There was no way to get him on the rails, so he had to wait until a new switch was installed the next morning. Roger felt very silly. He wished now he hadn't been so cocky and rude to Keira about freight cars.